Okay, so we're gonna set up an answer file now. So this is the difficult part in a way. Okay, so I'm just gonna show how to set up the answer file, and then I'm gonna import my own answer file to show you what settings needs to be changed to have an unintended install. So okay, once you open this, okay, this will be once you've installed it, you can just come down here in the start menu, and then Windows Kits. Open that, come down to the bottom, and it's Windows System Image Manager will be there, right? And then create or open an answer file. You can just left click there, say new answer file, or come here, new answer file. So it's gonna say all this. Do you want to open a Windows image now? Okay, so obviously you need to open your image here as well. Let's just say yes, and that install.wim file that you've captured earlier, just load that image in here. So where is this one? Yeah, this is definitely mine in a way. So it's gonna load that image in, and then we're gonna check it out. Right, so once your image is loaded, it will show you this part. This is my WIM file. I just called it Win10. So here you have components and packages. So just open the components. Let's make this a bit bigger. Drag this a bit so. Right. So on this you have your answer file, your Windows PE, generalize, specialize, and the OB out of box experience. So we're gonna add just a few to actually automate your install. So there is loads of stuff that you can do, but I mean, that's too much. So if you want to add something, so let's just see the one that we want to add. I'm gonna load my file now, but because I can't remember which ones it is. But if you want to add something, so I know this is the one of the components that you want to add. Set up language. So just come down here, and then you right click, and you have to add this component to your answer file to actually start working in it. So you will see add setting. So it will do this automatically. So this is 1 2 3 to 7, and it will add it to the right place. So add setting to pass 1 Windows PE, just click on it and it will add all the components in there. So if you click on it, you will see on the right all the stuff that you can actually change. User locale. So this is so it's like language. Obviously the language, usually it's American. It's something like this format. So English, US. This will already automate that part now. So it's quite easy. So if you just go through it, so this is how you do it. So just right click, add it, and it will add it on this side. So I'm gonna load mine now to make this easier. Okay, so it's all loaded up. So now you can see the ones that I've actually included is under WinPE, Specialize, and out of box experience, OOP system. So now to go to the places that you have to add them, let's see. So if I open that one, you can actually see the name here. So Microsoft Windows International Core WinPE Neutral. Maybe you should just enlarge this. Do that. So now we're gonna look for that name. international. So Microsoft Windows International is this one, Core WinP, that one. So this is the first one you're gonna add. So all you have to do is just add that one. So right click on it. As you can see, add setting to pass 1. That is pass 1. It will automatically put it in there. And put that setup language in there as well. Let's just drag this back a bit. Okay, so then the settings in this first one, the main one, you can just copy the settings here. So it's all American English. If you want to put in your language, you can do that. So it's input language, system locale, so the location, and UI language, whatever that is, and user locale. So just all in US or the one that you want to put in. Right, moving on. Set up UI language. Again, just ENUS for that one. I think that one is default. Right, then we come back, so we're done with that one. Then the next one, we want to include this modules, Microsoft Windows Setup Neutral. So we're gonna have to look for it. So Microsoft Windows Setup. So let's just see with this Microsoft Windows Setup. So is it this one? Yeah. So Microsoft Windows Setup Neutral. So you can, let's open it. So this configuration, image install, user data. So you don't want to well, add the first one, add it, and it will obviously add all of these ones. I'm going to show you if it adds all of those ones. So your list will be way longer, but it will, the box will be light blue, bluish grayish. So if you haven't set any settings in there, it will be like that. If it's dark blue, that means you have kind of edited it. So anyway, if it's light blue, you can just delete it. Obviously, after you've edited everything, you can delete it. So the first one we want to do is this configuration. Now, I've struggled days with this one. Literally days trying to set this one up. Because in if you're using Windows 11 especially, with the GPT format and not MBR, Windows 10 can still use the MBR and GPT. With GPT, it needs at least 3 partitions. The 4th partition is for recovery, but you don't need that one. And then MBR needs 2 partitions. And I've created the partitions perfectly. So obviously disk configuration, disk, and then create partition. You create 4 partitions. So you can actually just right click on create partition, insert new create partition. So you create 3 or 4 of them if using the GPT format, and then you're gonna have to put in all those settings, but I have not been able to install Windows this way. As soon as it get to the part where it wants to create the partitions, it just throws out an error and I can't move forward. So I've struggled for days and I couldn't figure it out. If you can figure it out or make it work, that's great. I couldn't, so I just thought by myself, let's create 1 partition and see if it works. And so I've created this 1 partition. Create partition order 1. So obviously you're gonna, if there's no create partition, you're gonna create and insert a new partition, and then this is the settings. extend true, so this will be the partition that all of your Windows files will be installed to. So extend true, that means it's gonna dynamically increase the size as it needs it. So make that true. The order is 1, so it's the first partition and the only one. So you're not going to put in the size because of the extend. You can put in a size if you know exactly how much space you need, but then you need to set this to false, and then type primary. So all the 3 other partitions that Windows create automatically is MSR and EFI. So this is the partitions that it creates, you know, for that initial install and so on. I can't remember what they all are, but anyway, this is the first partition, then the only partition. Then you go to modify partition. If there's no modify partition in there, just say insert new partition, and then this is what the partition is actually going to do. So in this one you set the format, obviously NTFS. The label is Windows, because this is where you're going to install your Windows 2. Drive letter obviously C. There's all the drive letters, but it's by default C. The order is 1 because it's the first drive, and then the partition ID, which is that one there. So it knows to select that one, 1 1. So that's all you have to do, and this actually worked for me. It just installed. Right, and then we can actually close. So let's just leave it open. Then image install. So this is all under Microsoft Windows Setup Neutral still. So we can open that, open it. Yeah, so it will create this automatically. So all you have to do is install to. So it just tells tell it where to install Windows and to what partition. So it's obviously partition ID 1. So disk 0, because it's disk 0, it's the only disk, and then partition 1, and that's it. Right, and then user data. So this is all in the Windows PE section, which is the pre-installation section. It's that first part when you start up Windows, is going to ask you the language and all that stuff. So Windows hasn't installed yet, hasn't copied any files, it's just that section. So user data, there's the product key in there. So you can put in I'll leave in the description the Windows KMS product key page, where you can just copy and paste the product keys in here. So it's a legitimate key, but it's not a registration key. It's just a key that tells you what Windows needs to be installed. Is it Home or Pro? So make sure you copy the right one. I think it's the same key. There's one key for both. So this is just to automate the system. It's not going to ask you for a product key. That's section where it asks you for a product key. Put that in there, and that's pretty much all you have to do in the Windows PE section. So we can actually just close that, and then delete all the light blue boxes, because it's gonna moan here in the bottom if you don't delete them. If you're not gonna use them, you have to delete them. Right, the second one is specialized. Let's just see what's in there. So this is the Microsoft Windows Shell setup. Let's see where that one is. So Microsoft Windows Shell setup. Is it this one? Yeah, neutral. Lots of stuff in there. Let's see what I've added in there. Now I can adjust the shell setup. So as you can see, this is past 4. So you want to put it in the 4th section here. So not any of those, but in specialize. So you choose the fourth part and it will put it in there. And this is for these things. OEM name. Let me just see, registered organization. I'm not too sure about this one if it's needed, but I put it in anyway. And registered owner and then time zone. You might need to put the time zone in. So mine is South Africa standard time. You're just gonna have to find out yours. If it's the US United States standard time, I'm not sure. You have to find out on the Microsoft site or just Google it and just put that one in, because it might, if you don't put it in, it might just stop your auto unattended that section. Right, that's the only thing you do in there. And then we come down to the out of box system. So we've included Microsoft Windows International Core Neutral. Microsoft Windows, what is it? International again. What's it? Just International Core is just on top of the PE. That one. So you're gonna include that to pass 7. So it's obviously in pass 7, yeah. So once that is done, this is pre-installation section. Then it's going to install Windows and so on, and create a partition. And after the install, it's going to ask you more questions about countries and so on, selecting your country and all that. So this is now after that section. So this section, I just put in ENUS and all of that. So input locale, system locale, language, and user locale. So it's all just I just put it ENUS because, yeah, it's just for the keyboard and so it doesn't matter if I'm from South Africa, it's the same thing. This number here, so just copy this exactly as it is the keyboard layout QWERTY. So if that number is something else, it will be a different keyboard layout. So you just put in that settings there. Right, then we're gonna move into shell setup neutral. Microsoft Windows shell setup neutral. Microsoft Windows shell setup neutral. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. So what we want to include it, that's the out of box experience. So this is after that is pre-installation section. Was there a OB there as well? Well, anyway, so that was that one. Oh yeah, and then in this initial one, time zone again, just put it in there. I actually didn't put this in and it actually stopped the installation. Registered owner, yeah, just put something in there. I'm not sure about that one. Just copy it as is. And then out of box experience, put all this in because I missed one and it stopped again. And every time I have to reinstall or start over. So obviously the URL page, hide. You don't need that one, so hide OEM registered screen, online account screen, hide wireless setup. That wireless setup section, you can hide that. Network location, you can actually select the network location to work or home, obviously home for me. Then protect your PC. So 1 is obviously fully protected, 3 is unprotected. So this will actually start downloading the updates and so on. Set it to 1. Skip machine OOBE true. Skip user OOB true. Unattend enable retail demo, whatever that is, to false. So that's the out of box experience. All that questions, boom, Good. Right, then there's user accounts. Obviously, it's going to ask you to set up a user account, a Microsoft account or a local account. If you set this, it will actually bypass that and set the account. So if there's not an account in here, just say insert new account, local account. So you don't want a Microsoft account, just a local account. So just put all of this in as is. So description, main local admin account, display name admin. I'm just going to create an admin account. You can, once in Windows, you can just change it. Group administrator and name admin. And that is pretty much that for the answer file. Just these few things and it will fully automate your Windows. So the one that you might struggle with, the other ones is fine, but the one you struggle with is the partitioning. So for some reason this worked perfectly. Just create one partition, and yeah, it kind of worked. I can't think of anything else here. Anyway, if it gives you any yellow exclamation marks here at the bottom, just read and see what it's complaining about. You can actually double click on it. So what is this one? Set settings, keep user is deprecated in the Windows image. Okay, it doesn't matter now because this file has been loaded. It's all set, so just make sure there's no yellow ones because it won't save. So once that's all sorted out, you can actually just come to file and say save answer file as and save it to where you want it. And that's how you create an answer file for an unattended setup. Good.